Okay. I don't think this one's going to be very long here today. We're on lesson number 259 of a workbook of A Course in Miracles. Let me remember that there is no sin. What a relief, huh? There's no such thing in sin in terms of the way we conceived it. I mean, it's not. There's no God out to punish us for what we think are acts that have gone against some sort of moral, spiritual, religious, or societal mores. There is no sin. Quite simply, there could be no sin in God, because if sin is a lack of love, and God is but love, and therefore so am I, there would be no place in God for there to be room for a lack of love, since God is the totality of love's reality, along with you, extending forever, outside of which there's nothing. And you are created in His image. So we've read the lessons. Let me go back to it for a second, since there's no such thing as what we read. And that's basically what this is all about. Sin is insanity, is a means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to set illusions take the place of truth. And that's exactly what this is saying. The body is the instrument the mind made, and is striving to deceive itself. So the mechanisms of illusion were born in the instant that we remembered not to laugh at the tiny mad idea that it could be separate. And in a dream, there's been many ways. Everybody has attempted to explain this one way or the other, like how did this occur, or how could a loving God do this to us? And obviously, we get to the point of realizing a loving God could never have done this to us, so we must be doing it to ourselves. So sin is insanity, and everybody who comes here is completely insane, because they have taken on the mantle of sin, are experiencing their lives as guilty and filled with fear, and with the reality of ourselves as being whole, perfect, and what love is, that perception is completely wrong. Yet because it feels so real to us, we cannot not but think that it's real, and without any sort of intervention or help, we would continue to deal with it as if it was real, and there would be no return. And that's what this is saying. What else but sin engenders our attack? What else but sin could be the source of guilt? Demanding punishment and suffering. And what but this could be the source of fear, obscuring God's creation and giving loving attributes to fear and attack? Father, I would not be insane today. What is sin? Sin is insanity. So if there's no sin, then I don't want to be insane today. My belief in sin has caused me to be insane. So I must have some sort of experience that allows that underpinning, that underlying belief in sin to be experienced as having no reality, and therefore as non-interference. Something that I need not concern myself with in terms of what it's represented to us conceptually, which is the idea that we've gone against God, and punishment is necessary in order for us to be righted again. Obviously, if God is all there is, it would be impossible to go against Him, because there would be nothing that isn't Him, and that's the whole point that we're coming to recognize as we continue in our journey and do these lessons. And of course, when we're afraid and we're guilty, you know what happens. You're constantly looking around, waiting for the sword of Damocles to fall on you. And because it never does fall on you, you live in constant and ever-present anxiety, waiting for some sort of divine retribution. And that's the way I lived for years. So finally I just gave up. I couldn't take it anymore. I just said, if God's going to get me, sooner or later he's going to get me. Well, get me now. Because I can't live running from God anymore. And sure enough, it was then I learned that God is love, for love can have no opposite. You are the source of everything that is. And everything that is remains with you and you with it. Of course. Just free your mind for a second. Remember, the joy is in the release. And first we forgive and then we understand. And forgiveness is releasing ourselves from past concepts that have bound us to beliefs that no longer serve the purpose that we have accepted, in allowing our mind and our heart to serve the purpose of our soul in fulfillment of the plan of salvation. So the idea of sin no longer serves the purpose. So we must have an experience that shows us beyond any shadow of a doubt that our ideas of sin are completely false and they never existed, so that we can be free to approach God in our daily lives and carry the light and love of the Lord with us as we integrate our way, as we learn our way out of the condition of fear and guilt, back to the remembrance of the fact that love can have no opposite. So I would not be insane today. I don't want to be afraid of love. It is crazy. The egoic mind will hear a phrase like that, says, I would not be afraid of love, nor seek for refuge in its opposite, and say, I would never do that. That's what denial is. Denial is the unwillingness to entertain a thought, to see if it's true for you, rather than just reacting and denying the possibility of it. Everything is true by the possibility of it, because everything is the idea. Everything is an idea. The fact that you've been insane is the admission that you have to come to in order to come to the recognition that you no longer want to be insane. And if you haven't thought that you were insane, then you could never really think that you don't want to be insane, which is why half measures avail us nothing. And this course is believed in its entirety or not at all. It has to be accepted exactly as it is. It'll make you feel good if you read it, but it won't have any transformative value. It won't eliminate the idea of sin as being an activity within your consciousness that you cannot not help but to be anxious over, because you're constantly waiting for the sword to fall on your neck and extract from you the price that God apparently thinks you must pay for the sins you've committed. And that's not the God that I have come to know, and that's certainly not the God of love that is the God of creation. Although I did have to have a lot of my thinking undone. And the way it was after I had the revelation, I would pose questions, and of course when you have a question and you have a definitive answer, then you bring the question into the vicinity of the answer, and it dissipates because of the falsity of it, and that's what happens. And so we have this idea that sin doesn't exist, that love is real, love is all there is, that we're perfect, whole as God created us, and then we have these emotions and these situations that want to tell us that that's not true and something else is true instead. When we make a firm commitment to healing our mind and accept this as the guideline, then we allow this to be true and look at everything in the light that we receive from the source of these lessons himself, who is with us and will help us do these lessons if we but give the nod to him rather than the ego and our need to identify and control the effects of guilt, the effects of separation, guilt, fear in the world of space and time, by attempting to think there's something outside of us that can be controlled. So we're just simply passing all that by. Sin is the only thought that makes the goal of God seem unattainable. What else could bind us to the obvious and make the strange and distorted seem more clear? What else but sin?